Today we'll be discussing the coronavirus outbreak's impact on California.
Followed by talks of a future recession and how to bounce back from it.
Finally, we're committed to bringing you the news, views, and info to go on this episode of the Report Roundtable Discussion. I'm Bree Slick.
And I'm Jefferson Denham.
And I'm Ryan Matthew, and as you can see, we are continuing to practice social distancing and going to conduct our episodes via Zoom for the foreseeable future. And although we cannot be physically together, we invite you to continue to be a part of the discussion on Twitter at the Report CSUF or our Titan TV Instagram at Titan TV CSUF. Keep in touch and to view our content.
With 40 million residents at home, school campuses closed through the end of the academic year, even Disneyland shutting down, it's safe to say that COVID-19 has made its mark on California. Experts say they don't know the true number of people infected, but this number is much likely higher than official tallies. The Los Angeles Times, who's conducting a continual independent survey of local health agencies across California, says they discovered over 16,000 confirmed cases as of April 7th. Now, you guys, I am personally, if you were here 2 weeks ago, I am personally in Sacramento, California, a little outside of it. So I'm not with everyone else right now. I'm up north with everyone else being down in LA. And I have a mom who is a urology nurse at Kaiser Roseville up here in Northern California. And she actually has given me a few updates to share with you guys. Basically, they don't have a lot of people who have the virus in her work, so ventilators are okay as of right now. But if the spike continues, like the rest of the United States, especially New York, ventilators will be needed. But as of right now, they're okay. But one of the biggest things that she told me was that employees, starting tomorrow, she got an email today, they have to get their temperature taken before they can come into work, just in case, because you never know. But also, when it comes to masks are one of the biggest things that people are needing right now. People are making them. People are trying to find the last few that they can get. My mom said that there's 4 types of masks: isolation, the N95, the surgical, and the Case 1 masks. So isolation is the one my mom has to use in urology, and she said that they have 1 month at least left. So hopefully they'll have a little bit more time with it and they'll get more in. But after that, they're going to have to resort to the Case 1 masks, which it can do only so much. Those are mainly for people who are just taking in patients and taking their temperature for the most part. So she's going to possibly need more masks down there, and a lot of people are resorting to making them. That's one of the greatest things that I've seen all over social media. I don't know about you guys, but people are making them. They're sending them out. So I encourage everyone to keep doing that and, helping as much as we can, because that's all we really can do right now. What do you guys think? What's going on down there?
Well, speaking of equipment that first responders and just health officials are going to need to help treat each citizen in their state, Governor Gavin Newsom today actually gave one of his coronavirus outbreak info sessions, which he does every day. He was saying that there's about 11,000 ventilators already in the system in California. And in fact, that we're good, that we actually have a plethora of ventilators that he's now going to be sending to 3 other states who are in desperate need of these ventilators. And that includes New York, New Jersey, and Illinois. And he even said that further, he's looking to give even more ventilators to other states in need within the next coming days. He says right now that we're not short on ventilators, but it could potentially become an issue later on. He said that May is the time that he's expecting, or at least healthcare professionals are expecting it to reach the peak of that graph that we've continuously been seeing. And that's when he's gonna, kind of be reserving his resources then. But he's saying for now, we're good with ventilators. And so he's trying to do what he can to actually help other states who are in more desperate need than we are, which is, I think, kind of interesting to think that, it is a team effort.
But one thing I will say is that I'm pretty proud of our governor. As a matter of fact, I was reading a New York Times article just today about how our governor and the state of Washington also seems to be like a model of how to be proactive. If you recall, he was one of the first to kind of get out there in front and lead and say, hey, we need to shelter at home. And that was mid-March or so. There's some other things that he's doing that I really appreciate. Number one, I'm going to say number one for me, because I used to work with the homeless, is creating spaces to get the homeless off the streets. And if you think about it this way, we are only as strong as our weakest link. If we don't take care of that vulnerable population, that will come back to get us.
And actually, going back to the Gavin Newsom's talk today, he actually did touch upon that, and he was giving some statistics about how many hotel and motel rooms he's been able to get to these people who don't have shelter otherwise. He says currently the statistic that they have, there are 7,643 rooms which are secured, and they're daily bringing in people who don't have shelter into these places to keep them there while this whole pandemic is happening. He says that he is halfway there, and that is literally half of how many rooms he wants. He says his goal is to have about 15,000 rooms in place and secured for these people who wouldn't have shelter otherwise.
Which is fantastic. And then we know, of course, that not only are we dealing with the medical fallout of this horrible worldwide pandemic, but there's economic fallout to deal with as well. So let me segue into our second story about, is a major recession possibly on the way? So while the coronavirus outbreak has left much of the future uncertain, JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon foresees one aspect that he feels like he can predict confidently, quote unquote, a bad recession. The US economy has come to a halt, leaving many to wonder how to bounce back from a crumbling economy. CNN's Christine Romans explains some of the possibilities for the future impact of COVID-19 on our economy.
How quickly can the economy recover from coronavirus? A lot depends on what shape this recession takes. There's an alphabet soup of possibilities: the V shape, the U shape, or the dreaded L shape. A V shape is the best case scenario here. It's a sharp drop followed by an equally sharp recovery. It means the economy would ramp back up just as quickly as it shut down. But that will largely depend on how quickly the virus is contained and how soon people can go back to work. That's why a U-shaped recovery may be more likely here. In that case, the economy contracts, then bumps along the bottom for a while before climbing back. Many economists are betting on that scenario since uncertainty caused by the virus won't just evaporate overnight. Business owners and CEOs may curtail future investment, and consumer spending, the biggest driver of U.S. economic activity, probably won't bounce back immediately either. That's partly because of lost income, but also because of the psychological toll the viral outbreak has taken on consumer confidence. Beyond the V and the U, there's the worst case scenario, the L shape. Picture a hockey stick with a long tail. That happens if the virus is not contained, social distancing remains into the summer, and businesses and consumers take years to recover. After the Great Recession, economic activity took nearly 4 years to return to its pre-recession peak. The Great Depression was even more severe, lasting 10 years. Thankfully, most economists are not predicting this outcome, but all of this is highly uncertain, and it all depends on the biggest unknown, the course of the virus.
So that's the economic side of things. I think the thing to also keep in mind is, let's apply it to how we're responding to the virus in general. Do we stay sequestered, quarantined for this long? And then what if we jump in too soon? Which you can see a lot of business people are very anxious, and I can see why. The economy is in dire straits right now. So they want to get things back to quote unquote normal as fast as they can. But if we jump in too soon, it could be worse than it was before.
Yeah,
Which is
definitely.
not what we want. That's not what anybody wants. Actually, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell spoke to the Today Show just this morning, and on the topic of, can you compare this recession to any of our other recessions we've had in the past? He said you really can't, because in this recession, there's nothing wrong with the economy fundamentally. He actually said it was the contrary, and that the economy has performed very well up until or through February, mentioning that there was a 50-year low in unemployment. So it's not the economy's fault. He's saying that it's a very unique situation, and the economy is coming to a halt on purpose, and it's all to contain the spread of the coronavirus. And that's also what Jerome Powell said is what's going to make this economy boost back up again. It's how quickly can people get the coronavirus under wraps. That way consumers can continue to, partake in the economic activity that they were doing before. Going back to those charts that we had our CNN correspondent mention, the V shape, although it is the one that everybody would love, we would love for this to, just happen and then forget about it, it's not the most likely option. Kind of what Jefferson says that W, or in the report, the U that they mentioned, it's a little more likely where the recession goes down and then we're kind of in limbo for a little while, but then it will eventually kick back up. And the L shape, like we, again, mentioning, is just not what we want. And the reason that we would get that L shape is if we weren't able to control the outbreak and the spread of the coronavirus efficiently. And so if you want a better economy, if you want to get out of this recession quicker, do what, again, I feel like I've said this like a gazillion times just within the past few months: stay at home, quarantine, wash your hands. Like, we've listened to the CDC and other professionals telling us exactly what to do so we can get out of this. And people continue to have social gatherings. They continue to go out. Stay-at-home orders are in several states across the country. Wisconsin's one of them. And today, they still have their primaries in polling places. They're open and people are going physically. And although they are wearing masks, they're wearing gloves, they're observing social distancing, that only does so much.
What I kind of want to talk about is jobs right now. With so many people, millions in unemployment, there are some jobs though that are still hiring. I mean, we have Rayleigh, 7-Eleven, Amazon, Lowe's, Dollar Tree. Lowe's is a big one right now, especially because since everyone's home, they want to do their yard work. So Lowe's is really big right now. But Instacart is where people can go get your groceries for you, and they're hiring over 30,000 people right now because nobody wants to go out, so they need people to go get your groceries. So if those of people who are unemployed, you can look into that if you're willing to risk and go out right now. So I think that's one thing that people really need to realize, is there are people who are still hiring, even though a lot of people have lost their jobs. Another thing is internships. College students, us right now, I have applied to 3-4 internships so far, and I've already heard back from almost all of them saying that as of right now, they are on hold, and most likely they will not be having summer internships, which really sucks for college students, especially like juniors and seniors. We have to have an internship to graduate. So I'm curious to see what the school is going to do, especially for seniors. What are we going to do? Like, if you can't get an internship, are they going to really actually hold them back, or are they going to let them move on and not have to take an internship? So I'm really curious to find out what is going to happen and see if summer internships are going to be a go or not.
One thing's for certain, the future is uncertain. And so we're going to have to take this day by day. But what we can for certain do now is just listen to what the professionals are saying. I don't know how many more times I'm going to say it, probably 1,000 more. But if you want this to end, listen to the professionals. All right, so we're going to stop listening to some very negative news. Let's turn over to something positive. Singer Lady Gaga is now collaborating with Global Citizen and the World Health Organization to produce a star-studded virtual show to aid charities and healthcare workers battling the COVID-19 pandemic. The One World Together at Home special was announced by the pop star during the World Health Organization's daily press briefing on April 6th, and will raise money through the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund that Lady Gaga and Global Citizen have already raised $35 million for. Gaga will be joined on the virtual stage with the likes of Billie Eilish, Maluma, Lizzo, and others. The show is set to air on April 18th on multiple streaming platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. This is, I have to say, a very exciting story for me, because I'll be honest, I have a little mistrust when it comes to celebrities giving out messages. You have that whole video with all the A-list celebrities singing Imagine, and it's, I mean, great, and that's cute, and I'm glad that I saw how lavish you're living in this pandemic. Not everybody is living that way. And so talk about using your publicity and your star power for good. She's actually using this to give back to the community and give back specifically to the people who are working, who are out there on the front lines every day, making sure that we're keeping safe and we're trying to, compress this as much as we can. So I think this is a fantastic way of using your star power for good. What do you guys think?
Well, I say, way to go, Stephanie Germanata, or Lady Gaga. She has credibility. I mean, if you see, like, with her Born This Way Foundation, and she gets in there and she helps. I've seen her doing things with schools, and so it seems like, to your point, Ryan. Yeah, it's sometimes it's a bummer when you see. It's almost like celebrities are patting themselves on the back for doing something good, and they're waiting for you to give them credit. I don't see that with Lady Gaga. I see her, and she's from New York. And so I think that that's the epicenter, and that's where people are experiencing it. And it's the hardest hit. We all know this. But to do something like this that directly benefits those on the front lines, it's not just the doctors, it's not just the nurses who are superheroes, of course. It's the people who are working in the hospitals. They are at risk too, as are the people in grocery stores and whatnot. But the fact that she's turning the attention and giving the attention and using her artistry, and those joining her are using their artistry to celebrate these folks, almost saying, you know what, in this instance, you're the celebrity. And I think everyone's going to say yes to that.
What I really love about this is that she now is saying, we've raised $35 million. We're at a point now where you can still donate, but put your wallets away and enjoy the show and just kind of sit back and, you know, take your mind off of everything that's happening. And I really, really love that. So I really give her props and everyone that helps put that together. I also love that a whole bunch of other celebrities, though, they are trying to do stuff too. Like one of my favorite videos that I've been watching every week is SGA, which is Some Good News with John Krasinski. And I mean, even just this week, he brought in the whole entire Hamilton cast, which is a Broadway musical in New York. All of them are shut down right now, but he brought in the whole original cast for a little girl who was supposed to see the show this week and couldn't. So they performed a whole segment over Zoom, which is awesome. So, you know, he's doing this every week, and nobody expected him to do anything about that. You know, nobody expected him to become this new newscaster. So I think it's really great that a lot of these people, even the iHeartRadio show that they did recently, like there's so many celebrities who are coming out, and I do give them props, you know, trying to get everyone's mind off of everything. But, you know, before we wrap everything up, I just want to say, we thank all the first responders right now who are out there. You know, it's really difficult, and we really give them props, and we want to honor them any way we can. So thank you to everyone who is a first responder. Thank you so much. But that's all we have for today for the Reports Roundtable discussion. Please, everyone, have a safe week and stay tuned for more news, views, and info. I'm Bree Eastlick.
I'm Jefferson Denham.
And I'm Ryan Matthey. And as always, Fullerton, stay fresh and stay home.